What's up, guys? My name is the Cherno. We're back at it again with whatever we're doing today. Game Engine series. How's everyone doing? I am not gonna lie, I am pretty wasted in terms of maybe wasted is the wrong term, but I'm pretty wrecked. I'm pretty tired. So I'm gonna try and put on a brave face, and we're gonna try and gonna try and do some good work here. So at the moment we're going through the C# side of things, the scripting engine side of things inside Hazel 2D, inside the Game Engine series. And I believe last time we took a look at file watching, and we used a library to basically automatically detect changes in our scripts. I kind of like to do a little bit of a recap in each episode, just because well, first of all, it catches everyone up, but also that way you guys don't have to, you don't have to kind of go to the last episode to see what we've done. So if we take a look at the roadmap real quick, we're kind of going through the scripting side of things with, I don't know why this is still under C# fields, but we did the reload C# assembly automatically, and debugging is probably what we'll take a look at some point. I don't know if we'll do that today, because we'll see. I'm pretty sure we finished this though, but basically, yeah, I'll just quickly show you guys what we had running last time, and I'll have to open up this as well. So here's Hazelnut. We have Hazelnut just running normally, and then we have Sandbox, and I'm gonna dock Sandbox over here if I can, and we'll put Hazelnut over here. So this is our C# script, and we have something like camera. So at the moment you can see this is our camera class. If I just hit play on the scene, what happens at the moment is you can see this distance from player variable increases by the time step, and so we kind of get this camera moving further away from the player. What I can do is I can change some C# code. So I'll change this to be like minus. I'll just compile. That's all I'm doing, and then I'll hit play. And now you can see we're zooming in to the player, because what's happened here is when I have compiled, it's obviously like, generated a new C# DLL here. The engine has automatically reloaded it because it's noticed that the file has changed, and that's what kind of gives us this behavior that you're seeing here. So that's what we did last time. So take a look at the previous episode. Everything gets uploaded to YouTube. I don't think I've uploaded this one yet at the point of me recording this, but they will be all uploaded to YouTube because I am recording them all here. That's pretty much, like, there were some things that we wanted to maybe fix for the future. I don't know if it's worth taking a look at it now, because we're kind of just working through the MVP side of things, which is kind of like the minimum viable product, which is just, the first vertical slice. I'm using all of these kind of corporate terms and stuff. But, we're kind of going through, the minimum kind of features to make up a workable product here. And one of the features that would be nice to have, but is not really vital, I think, is basically if we're in play mode and we change something, well, at the moment it crashes, I'm pretty sure, which should never happen. But if we just try and rebuild this while the scene is playing, yeah, we get a crash, unfortunately. And in fact, that was a bit of a weird crash, because it didn't even break the debugger or anything. That was kind of weird. Let me try that again. We might have to switch to debug mode, but if I do that, yeah, there we go. So we get some kind of crash here. And, yeah, I guess it's on the main thread, and it's because we try and invoke some kind of function, and that, I guess, doesn't work, because I'm guessing it's been released or something. We could have a look at fixing that, just because I imagine it's happening because we're not kind of retrieving certain classes or something. Yeah, because all of the entity classes probably need to be recreated, which can be a little bit problematic, so I'm not sure if it's even I'm not sure how that would even work, and I'm not sure why it does in Big Hazel, or how it works, but we can take a look at it briefly. So, yeah, let's just run that again. So I'll just hit play, and then if we go into Sandbox, let me just adjust something, build it, we get the crash. At least it's a predictable crash. And you can see it's because it's trying to invoke this onUpdate function. And I'm guessing, again, this script class has just gotten deleted, I imagine. But then it would have gotten replaced though, wouldn't it have? Because the script engine... So what is it doing? Oh, entity instances by UUID. Yeah, that probably doesn't get cleared, does it? Yeah, because I'm not sure exactly how that would work. So what happens is basically, yeah, we have this kind of like we have this kind of entity instances map, right? Which maps our UUIDs of our entities to an actual existing script instance of that entity script class. Now, the thing is, when our assembly gets reloaded though, I'm assuming all of those are invalid. But then how would we make them valid again? We'd have to recreate the entity and call on create again. That's gonna clearly disrupt our game. So how would we make this work? I mean, we could call on create again. It's a bit weird though. Huh. Yeah, because what I'm thinking is... when we do the reload, which is this, it's going to... Yeah, that's a little bit annoying, isn't it? So what I'm thinking is what we could do, but it's the other thing that's making me wonder about this is because it's not exactly that, like, I'm not sure what's going on with Big Hazel. Which is probably worth taking a look at that code, to be honest. But I kind of want to see if we can go down like an independent route here. So reload assembly will unload the domain. I just don't see any other way, really, because we'll probably have to do onCreate, which will do this. It'll call createRef script instance, and that script instance constructor over here will actually instantiate the script class, and we'll get a new instance. Don't know why it took me there. We'll get a new instance. So instantiate. Whoops. Instantiate will take us to here. Script engine instantiate class, and you can see we're actually making a new mono object because we've just unloaded the domain. Like if we reload and we unload the domain, that's gonna unload all the memory associated with it and everything, right? Because everything exists within that domain, right? So I don't see any other way. Like you'd have to recreate all the entities. Unless I'm wrong. Which is, I guess, possible. Yeah, I don't know. Someone asked earlier if I'm still enjoying making this series. I am. It's just I'm a bit tired today, that's all. I like this series. I don't know, it's exciting. It's going to be something that's definitely exciting to finish. Like I've got the end goal in sight, and that's exciting to think about. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's worth like making this work, because what we could do is obviously we could just stop the scene, or we could not allow reloading during, you know, during the scene being played. What we could do, there's a number of ways we can handle this. We could, I think that the best thing to do probably is when we hit play and we're playing a scene, if we just, if we detect an assembly being reloaded, which we can still do, we can still detect like this being reloaded. Instead of reloading it immediately, we can queue it as like a post, you know, post scene stop kind of action that we just execute. One thing I actually thought of that we can do today, because I don't know, like we're up to debugging, but there is actually one other thing I wanted to do, which is being able to pause the scene. Because we can't do that, and sometimes that's really useful, because at the moment if we hit play, like if we just wanted to pause this, just because we wanted to inspect the entities, because you can see, like, for example, you know, the camera obviously is moving backwards. If I just want to kind of stop the scene from playing so that I can inspect it, I can't do that at the moment. And obviously once you kind of have a more advanced setup, it's going to get even harder. So I think what I'm going to do is, let's do that today. Let's implement a pause button, because that would be useful to do, and that's also going to be hopefully easier than like debugging. Debugging is very, very easy to do because we talked about like Hazel tools last time. We basically have an extension for Visual Studio that handles most of that. So all we would really need to do from our side is just make mono debuggable. And that's it. And that's like a few lines of code. So it's really not that much work. So I'm probably not going to do that today. We can do it next time. And today we'll do something a little bit more involved, which is, no, let's go to edit a layer and let's find that play button. And let's just make a pause icon. I don't really like this like stack of icons that we're creating here, because obviously that's not gonna scale that well. But for now it's probably okay. And let's do this as well. I'm sure that I have a pause icon inside Big Hazel that we can just steal. Isn't that nice? When you already have an engine that's more or less written, you can just steal things from it. It's always fun. Icons. No, it's on here. Where is it? Okay, pause. I found it. So resources, let's go to our resources. Let's go to icons, play button, stop button, and now we have a pause button as well. I guess I'll call it pause button to match our convention. Pause, play, and stop. So there's the pause button. So what should I do? So yeah, so the play turns into a stop, obviously. So let's just I guess put it alongside the play button. So if we find where we do the play button, which is here, so that's either play or stop, depending on if the scene is playing, obviously. But then I think what we can do is, yeah, if I just duplicate this entire block here, we can leave that here. This is the simulate, which also becomes a stop. But the pause icon, I think, will always kind of be the pause icon. I think the only difference is what it does, obviously. But the only difference is it probably should be, I mean, we could even not render it. Yeah, I guess that would probably be smart. Yeah, let's do this. Let's say if scene state doesn't equal edit, we'll display this. Because otherwise, there's just no point. Obviously, you can't really have a pause button. We could gray it out, but like, what's the point, you know? We might as well not show it, I think. And then, so that's the pause icon. And then what that's gonna do, basically, is, since it's only gonna be in simulate mode, oh, and then, yeah, then we also need to make sure we... How would that work? We could, when we... It's a tint color. We could tint it a certain color if it actually is paused. And I guess the play button should become a play button. And I guess scene state, maybe we should make another scene state called pause, just so that the editor can be, like, we can change the UI if it's in pause mode for other areas as well. Okay, that's probably worth doing, I think. So let's do that. Let's make a function called onScenePause. Let's do scene state equals scene state pause, which doesn't exist yet, but will in a minute. Okay. So pause is there, good. So we can't do that in edit mode. The thing is, though, we kind of want this to be a bit different again, I think, because so we have let's see here. We have, like, currently we have kind of 3 modes. We have play, we have like simulate, which I'll just write S for, And then we have, that's it. Okay. So what happens is when we hit play, then basically what's going to happen is we'll be in play mode. So the play button will change to a stop button. The simulate button, I guess, will still be there, even though it really doesn't need to be. And then we'll also have a pause button. So will appear. And then I guess if we keep simulate, it'll be here. I guess we can get rid of simulate. Why would we have that, right? And then so I guess what we should do is when you hit pause, this should probably turn into a play button so that you can resume it by hitting. So this is basically edit mode. This is play or simulate, I guess. And this is pause. So when it's paused, it looks like this. And then if you hit either of these buttons, it will resume playing. Time speed changing that'll be different. That'll be like in a different area, I think. It won't be in the toolbar, which is what we're focusing on here. So, and then in simulate, I guess you would just see simulate, but a different state. And then I guess you'd also want pause. So I'm actually kind of thinking this would be a good layout, right? I guess I can take a screenshot of that or something. I don't know. Is that even gonna work? Yeah, it did. I took a little screenshot so that we could kind of see our design. So let's see if we can implement that. So that means that, but for that to work as well, if I don't think pause should be a scene state. I think that's a mistake. I actually think that we should just have inside scene, because this will be useful for pausing games as well, because games need to be paused. Although the way that it gets implemented will probably be a bit more special than this. Because when you pause a game, you probably still want to update all the C# scripts. Well, not all of them, but you have to do, like, if you update if you implement your unpausing logic inside C#, then you have to update C#. You probably don't want to update physics though, but you also don't want to, yeah, it can be difficult to kind of, from an engine side, implement that in an appropriate place. But I think what we'll do is we'll just have there's an is running. Let's make an is paused. The reason is running is more or less like if it's stopped or not. And then we'll have is paused. And then similarly, I guess, we'll have a set pause. Set paused. M is paused. Yeah, equals paused. I'm really out of it today. Okay, so that's what we'll do. And then basically what we'll do is we won't do this. On scene pause, we have to tell the scene that we want it to scene, what is it? Current scene, active scene. So we'll definitely set pause to true, which we can't do in edit mode, which makes sense, I guess. And then this is not going to be this. Although, yeah, I mean, I guess if it's not edit, we can display a pause icon. The play and stop situation. So if we're in edit or simulate, then this... Okay, but this is also assuming that we want to be able to, if we're in simulate mode, we want to go directly to play mode, right? Which I don't know if we necessarily would. You know what I mean? Like, if we're in simulate, do we also want a play button so that we can transition from simulate to play without hitting stop? But why would you do that? That doesn't make sense, does it? So I kind of want to rethink this UI a little bit, I think. I don't think it needs to be that complicated. So this language is C++, but we also have C# for our scripts, so like the scripts for the games are written in C#, just like Unity. So yeah, so we can probably just do this. I think that's fine. I think whether or not it's grayed out though, like we can is paused. We can just ask the active scene if it's paused. And then based on that, we can do some tinting. And then I guess the idea is if it's paused, right, then we do, if it's already paused, then I guess we just do, I don't even know if we need that necessarily. We can just do active scene set paused. Let's just do this. Let's just do active scene set paused, is paused, right? So we flip that. And let's deal with the rest of the UI later. So for now, to test this, I guess, let's go into scene and actually implement the paused functionality. So yeah, all we really do is if you look at on update runtime, we update our script entities and we update our physics. So we're just gonna do none of that. So we still need to render stuff, obviously, and this is where it's kind of like we have on update runtime, which also does the rendering, which probably isn't a great design here. But basically, should we separate that now? Let's take a look at editor layer. So on update runtime, because I could make like an on render runtime as well. That's what we have in Hazel, in Big Hazel. So that way updating is pretty much, okay, we won't change it for now, but I think that's something we will change. So let's just do if is paused is false. Then we'll basically update the entity scripts, update the physics, do whatever this camera stuff is. Oh, well that's actually needed for rendering. So that's, yeah, rendering begins here. So we'll just do that. And I think now basically we should have paused implemented. We should have pausing implemented, and the only thing we need to really just refine is going to be the UI, I think. Because I wanted it to behave a certain way. So if we hit play, we have a pause button now. If I hit pause, it pauses everything, and you can see we're obviously still running. And if I hit it again, you can see it unpauses it, okay? So that's pausing. Really easy. Pretty straightforward. And while it's paused, obviously, we can do a lot. See, this is the difference. If you hit play here, you can't change anything because it's playing as being set via a script. But what you can do is you can play with it now. However, it doesn't quite work like that because C#'s the one maintaining this variable and setting it. So if I hit play here, it's going to jump back to where it was. But at the very least, it does let us play with some stuff. So maybe if we're like, I don't like the camera's field of view or whatever, but I really don't want it to keep playing the scene, you can kind of change that and be like, okay, that looks better. You know, let's resume. And then obviously certain things that aren't set repeatedly every frame through C# will be kind of saved, right? So there's a lot you can kind of do here. You can play around with the scene, obviously, and it's kind of a nice environment to do that in when you're in pause mode. Okay. So I guess what we should do is, implement this kind of design. So in the beginning, let's just launch this again. We have a play and we have a simulate button. What happens when we hit simulate? Okay, so we have pause, we have stop. Oh, we don't. Oh no, because that takes us to actual play mode. Yeah, see, that's just a bit confusing. I don't think we should display simulate. What do you guys think? I mean, I guess that's kind of nice that you can transition between the two that quickly and that easily, but why you'd never need to. Like, if I was simulating physics, I don't think I'd need to... You know what I mean? Like, I don't think I'd need to... Yeah. I don't know. It seems a bit weird to me. And also, we display the stop button, yeah, after play, I guess, because it has to be like that. So the simulate button becomes a stop button. I don't think we necessarily need that. So if you guys don't have any opinions, I might just take it away. Well, go away. So then let's see. So this becomes a stop icon. And it does on-scene stop. Okay, I think in that case, because it's already been set up like this, let's not do extra work here. Let's just move this down here. And I think this effectively gets us what we want. So if we hit that and we hit pause, we're now in like a paused mode. And then we have to hit pause to resume it. The only thing is, I don't like the fact that we don't really see any feedback here. that it already is paused. And we could turn that into a play button. I think that'd be a little bit confusing. Oh, and pausing doesn't work for simulating. Let's make that work. Yeah, I don't know what to do there. So if not pause, so if we look at simulate, on update simulation, we just do that. So all the physics stuff just gets wrapped in that. And so now if we hit pause during simulation, it pauses our simulation. And we probably want like a step option to step 1 frame. Yeah, that'd be useful, wouldn't it? If we're in pause mode, I'd like to step 1 frame. Yeah. All right, let's do that. Let's duplicate the play button. We'll call it the step button. I'm gonna edit it in Paint. Oh, that may have been a bad idea. Okay, let's open it with Photoshop, which is not even an option. It's wonderful. Yeah, stepping is quite useful, and I'm just thinking like what, I guess, I'm just thinking what icon I should make for it. But I guess, yeah, a foot, that's funny. No, I guess I'll just make the kind of, so there's an icon, let me just make a dark layer so that we can see a little bit easier. What I could do is I could move this guy a little bit this way and then just add, why is this so small? This is very small. You know, and add one of these guys. If I can do this. It's not very anti-aliased. Need some anti-aliasing potentially. But we could do something like this, right? And that's your like step forward button. We could make it all smoother if we wanted to. What's going on here? Can you just stop misbehaving? Do you guys like my cool anti-aliasing? That's just gonna make it look a bit smoother. Alright. Maybe. I mean, I probably should have made it bleed out a bit, but whatever. So let's export that. Oh, whoops. Forgot to take this away. Oh, was that not, is this transparent? I guess it's not quite. Yeah, okay, that's not what I wanted, is it? I thought it would make it transparent, but it did not. So we're gonna do something a bit different. Reselect. Yeah, I don't know why I ended up doing that. That was a bit dumb, wasn't it? Because the sampling depends on what's below it as well. Let's just make it white. And then that's just got less opacity. Okay, so that should be better. Probably even make it less, right? Oh, wait. That's below it? Oh. I did not know that ended up happening. I thought I deleted that. Okay. Why is that still the wrong color? I just made it white. Actually, I should just be able to do that, right? Yeah, there you go. Okay, good. This is what I wanted to do. What? I don't even know why I did this. This is such a waste of time. Alright, my step button. My beautiful step button. Wait, what? That's my step button? Looks like garbage. Wait, what? Why did that get small? Why did my play button get smaller? When did that happen? Did you guys see that? What? How? Why did my... What? How did that happen? Wait, this is on the same layer? What is going on, man? I don't know how or when that happened. Okay, let's just roll this without the black. Ah. I deleted some of it. I remember doing that. Lies. Okay, there you go. So that's good. Maybe. Will probably look like garbage, but we will see. Okay, so edit a layer. Icon step. If is paused. Step. We can have a step one frame function. I guess I can make that one by default. Okay, so how's this gonna work? Basically, we're gonna have a little int step frames equals 0. And then step frames equals frames. And then I guess we can only do that in pause mode, right? So let's do this. If is paused, if not is paused, or step frames greater than 0. Step frames minus greater than 0, right? So this won't even happen if that's fine. Yeah, I guess we don't want to do it if it's equal, because if it's 1, yeah, it'll do it once. Okay, and then let's pop that in here as well. Yeah, let's test that out. And then we can kind of make that if we wanted to, we could make that a tweakable thing, I guess. So if we hit play, we hit pause, we have step, and you can see we can press that, and every time I press that, we move. And it will should also work for simulate. Yep. Now, if we wanted to, we could make it, like, let's just do step 10, right? And that will just do 10 frames. And we could make it do, like, 60 frames, which I guess would be a second, but it depends. I don't know how fast we're running this. Might be, if it's a VSync, I guess 144 would be that. But you can see it kind of plays it for an entire second or so. Let's do 144. So it's kind of useful, kind of fun, I guess. You can kind of just play this for a second. But I guess we'll just leave it on step, so it just does one. So yeah, so that's pretty much it. I'm just not liking the UI too much because I really don't know what to do with that pause button. Like, I know that I think Unity just depresses it, but I don't want it to... I guess I could do like a border around it or something. I don't know, what can I do with this image button? I could change the color. I could make it like... Because the thing is, if I make it gray, it's gonna almost indicate that it's off or disabled. So I don't want to make it gray. But white is the default color. I can make it glow a certain color, like, or just be a certain color. Maybe drawing a border around it. I mean, there's also background color, I guess. And yeah, tint color. Any plans to add a parenting system soon, like the relationship component in Big Hazel? Yes. I don't know when, but we've basically done this. But yeah, I don't know. Soon. Before we do Vulkan, like, I honestly want to make a little game. I mean, it's obviously not going to have any audio, but let's just quickly, so game. First game, right? And it's going to be a bit of a community game. Like, I want your help on it. But basically, we should be able to make a game. Make a game before we switch to Vulkan. And the reason for that is just to make sure that we have enough of like a scene rendering system made with OpenGL first, because there's no reason for us not to be able to do that. And that way, when we switch to Vulkan, we can also make sure that everything is graphically the same and everything works. So I'd like, this should have like a bunch of, you know, this should use all of the graphics features we have, which is not many, but that should all be kind of utilized there. And I don't know, like, I think we probably should, we haven't done text rendering at all, have we? Because that's going to be hard to make a game without text rendering. Did we even, like, yeah, texture atlases, no. Is text anywhere here? Did we even consider text? Yeah, text rendering UI. So we're going to do that quite late. I mean, this isn't necessarily in order, but yeah. Oh, play button. Would it be a good idea to have some kind of millisecond measurement to see between OpenGL and Vulkan renderers? I don't know. Like, overall frame time, maybe. I'm not going to waste time with OpenGL timers. But, like, I don't think you're going to see much of a difference between Vulkan and OpenGL, if I'm completely honest, with this kind of 2D thing. Like, it's going to be roughly the same. There might be, I'm definitely not GPU time either. Like, there's going to be there might be some CPU, you know, performance gains, but because it's what we're doing is so simple, it's honestly not going to matter too much. When we get into like the more advanced post-processing stuff, potentially, you know, it's going to let us asynchronously run stuff in compute a lot easier than OpenGL will. And I think once we actually get into, you know, handling that processing a bit more, it's probably going to be faster, especially with the CPU side. But otherwise, yeah, I don't know. Doug Tenser, thank you for the sub. 5 months. Appreciate the support. Okay, so anyway. Yeah, I think... Yeah, we just need to consider the UI at this point, and then we're basically done. There's a lot of stuff here now. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I honestly think that having simulate when you're in play mode is just a waste of space, isn't it? Like, I get that you might be like, oh, I'm playing my game, and then be like, oh, I just actually want to simulate it. Why would you ever do that, though? Or like, oh, I'm simulating, let me just play the scene now. No. I'm taking that away. I don't like it. We still want to be in this branch though, like, but I guess the difference is we only do this if scene state is edit or simulate. I might clean up these ifs a bit later, because obviously there's a lot of overlap. And then similarly, this should only be here if it's edit or yeah, edit or narrow to the scope or play. So now these guys change and we only see what's relevant. And then, okay, I guess we lost something there. I guess, was it this? Set Kaza position? Yeah. That should have been outside. Oh, maybe not. What? Oh, is it because of the same line call? So basically, if there's a play button, okay. So I could just say that if both of these are false, if either, I mean, I guess this is what it would be, but yeah, I'm gonna rewrite these ifs in a minute because it's getting very confusing. Okay, cool. Okay, so how are we gonna rewrite the ifs to make them better? We're basically gonna just name them, right? So what I'm gonna do is over here, we're gonna have a has play button equals this. And that's really nice because not only is it clear now that if has play button, you know, do the play button, it also means here where we have to do this, instead of writing this again, we just write, oh, well, if it's got a play button, then we need to do same line. Otherwise, if there's no play button, this is the first button, and thus we don't, right? So that's also helpful. And then we can also do a has simulate button, which is, of course, this. And then this is has pause button, I guess, which we probably don't really need, but it's really nice to be able to look at. I think it's really nice to be able to look at like the beginning of this kind of function. You know, like in UI toolbar, just be able to look at this and be like, oh, okay, well, these are the possible buttons basically. And if we really wanted to, we could also do like a has step button, and the step button's gonna be this. But I think I won't do that because that directly is whether or not it's paused. Although I don't know, because it's here. Yeah, nah, it's okay. We won't do that. So yeah, so that's gonna clean it up obviously a lot. And it's going to make the code much more readable instead of having these magic states. I mean, there is also these guys, which we could potentially clean up a bit. Because if you notice, like, this is, if it's, I guess, currently, so if scene is edit or simulate, we have play versus edit or simulate, I guess, versus like if it's in play mode. But this is getting confusing and it's probably not worth doing, so I'm not going to do it. Let's take away this comment. All right, cool. Yeah, so I don't know what we do about... I mean, I don't know. Do you need to know that you're in pause mode without the button being depressed? How do other tools show this? I know like Unity and stuff will... they depress the button because their buttons look different. We could obviously change this to a play button, but that's a bit confusing because I feel like, you know, if we make it the same as this when we're in pause mode, nah, to be honest, I'm going back on my stupid, I don't even know why I decided to do that, just for fun really, but I'm going back on my stupid anti-aliasing idea, because it just looks blurry. Let's just make this pure white. Delete this. And that's gonna look better, because the pause button is, if we look at what I did, the kind of, like the pause button, you know, looks kind of super sharp. I mean, it's being a bit, and as being a bit filtered with a minification filter because it's smaller than that, I guess, maybe, or it's being magnified, so we have a border, but you can see this has a double border because I added one, so there's no point doing that. I'd rather have it look like this than that. So we'll just do that. I don't even know what resolution this is. 32 by 32, that's tiny, man. I don't know why specifically that, it's probably being magnified. Okay, that's done. Yeah, okay, so now that looks really good. Yeah, I don't know what we want to do with the UI. I guess we can just leave it the way it is. One thing I just really wanted to retain here, which hasn't really quite happened, but play and stop being in the same position, so you don't have to, so you can just do this and you don't have to move your mouse, but it's not the same with simulate, but I think that's fair because otherwise everything will be shifted down, you know what I mean? Because if we don't have a play button at all anymore and we're here, then everything's gonna be misaligned. Like if this is like the middle here and like this is our first position and this is 1, 2, 3, then if we shifted that to be here, then it's kind of like we're gonna have 1, 2, 3 buttons or whatever, whereas this is like the starting position and it's not gonna be in the middle of this anymore, kind of, I guess. I don't know actually, how do we pick the middle? I mean, we get the size and we just, yeah, we get the middle, I guess, and we set it, but what do? We do size being, oh, we know how -4, so we actually, it's kind of like, this was kind of the middle for 2 buttons really, I guess, or something like that, or even 1 button, when we just had a play button probably. So it's not really even in the middle anymore, but whatever. Okay, anyway, that's it. I'm gonna stop there. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. A little bit of a short episode today, which is good because I'm tired. Next time, I want to do a couple of things. So debugging, like we talked about this, but I think we'll do debugging next time, which is going to be another short episode. And then after that, there's probably some other C# stuff that we definitely, like some other stuff we need to expose to C# for sure. However, we probably will kind of do that along the way of making a game, right? So I think we can probably start coming up with some kind of game ideas of just a little, maybe like a 2D platformer or something simple. Could be a 2D top-down game, or Could be anything really. That's going to test out the engine a little bit, and it's going to help us implement some much needed C# features as well, so that game's going to be possible. Okay, I haven't committed. Let's commit. So I guess we can review the changes quickly. So basically, yeah, we did stepping and pausing, which is good. That's cool. We'll have to commit the buttons. This is irrelevant. And edit a layer as well. Pausing and stepping. Okay, that's committed. It's in the scripting branch. You guys can take a look at that code. github.com/the/Cherno/Hazel. Why not add C# debugging into this for only a few lines? Because I want to separate it into its own episode on YouTube, and we'll do that. We'll talk about that next week. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit the like button. And for those of you watching on Twitch, if you want to watch the rest of the kind of catalog of videos on YouTube, then both on the Cherno project, which is kind of my main channel, and also Cherno Unplugged. Cherno Unplugged is the second channel where this will go. I'll upload this video eventually. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.